You have got a shed sitting in your backyard doing absolutely nothing. And you have just seen a video of some guy turning his into a gorgeous tiny home for $8,000. So now you are thinking, can I actually do this? Here is the truth. Yes, you can. But there is a version of this story YouTube does not show you. The permits that get denied. The zoning laws that shut the whole project down. The $8,000 build that quietly became $35,000 after electrical, plumbing, and a foundation. In this video, I am walking you through the complete, honest picture of turning a shed into a tiny house in 2026. What it actually costs, what the law actually says, and what steps you need to take to do this right. No fluff. No fantasy pricing. Just real information. Before we get into it, if you are new here, this channel is dedicated to giving you honest, research-backed information on tiny homes and alternative living. No sponsored fluff. So if that is the kind of content you want more of, hit subscribe and tap that bell so you do not miss a thing. It genuinely helps the channel grow. Alright, let's get into it. And stick around to the end, because I'm going to share the single biggest mistake people make at the very last step of this project. One that can cost you thousands and leave you legally exposed. Let us start with why this conversation is happening at all. The median price for a new home in the United States crossed $400,500 in early 2026, with existing home prices following a steady upward appreciation trend since 2024. Rent has hit record highs in most major metros, and a growing number of people, especially younger generations, are actively looking for alternatives to traditional homeownership. At the same time, prefab sheds have gotten genuinely good. A solid 12 by 24 shed that is 288 square feet can be purchased for somewhere between $2,500 and $12,000 depending on the material and manufacturer. And states across the country have been loosening zoning restrictions on accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, making shed conversions more legally viable than ever before. In California alone, over 80,000 ADU permits have been issued since 2016 and new 2026 legislation, including SB 543 and AB 1154, both effective January 1st, 2026, has further removed restrictions, giving homeowners significantly more flexibility to build and inhabit smaller secondary structures on their property. Georgia made national headlines with House Bill 1166, which passed the State House in March 2026 and is currently moving through the Senate. If enacted, it would legalize small homes under 400 square feet statewide by preventing local governments from outright banning them in single-family zones. Texas continues to expand its ADU-friendly policies, particularly in unincorporated county areas. So the legal environment has genuinely improved. But, and this is critical, it is still not simple. Let's talk about what you actually need to know. Step 1. Before you buy a single piece of lumber or pick a paint color, is understanding your local zoning laws. And I cannot stress this enough. This is the step most people skip, and it is the step that kills the project. Zoning laws regulate how land can be used. They determine whether a secondary structure on your property can be legally inhabited. Some areas allow it outright. Others require a conditional use permit, basically a special exception, and some areas prohibit it entirely. What you need to check. First, contact your local zoning office or planning department. Not Google, not a forum, your actual local authority. Ask specifically whether a shed conversion to a residential dwelling unit is permitted on your property's zoning classification. Second, check minimum square footage requirements. Many jurisdictions have minimums for what qualifies as a legal dwelling. Some set that bar at 500 square feet, which would immediately rule out a small shed conversion as a primary residence. Third, if you're in a community with an HOA, check those rules too. HOA restrictions can override your zoning rights entirely. Fourth, check building codes. Your converted shed must meet residential building codes for ceiling height, typically a minimum of 7 feet, egress windows, electrical systems, and plumbing. These are not optional. They exist for your safety. Fifth, get your permits before you start. Operating without a permit can result in fines, forced demolition, and serious complications if you ever want to sell the property. The honest reality? Depending on where you live, this project may or may not be legally viable as a full-time residence. That is not a reason to give up. It is a reason to research before you invest. If you do not already own a shed, This is your first major decision, and it matters a lot. Which sheds? What is the most popular choice for conversions? It is easy to work with, easier to insulate, and easier to modify, adding windows, framing interior walls, running wiring. Aesthetically, what gives you that warm, home-like feel? The downside is that it requires more maintenance over time and can be vulnerable to rot and pests if not properly treated. Metal sheds. Metal sheds are durable, pest-resistant, and low maintenance. But they are significantly harder to insulate properly, and without good insulation, there will be an oven in summer and a freezer in winter. If you go metal, budget for spray foam insulation, which adheres directly to the walls and does the best job of sealing metal structures. Prefab/pre-built options. If you are buying new, some prefab structures now come with windows, basic doors, and pre-designed layouts that make the conversion process faster. These cost more upfront, typically $4,000 to $12,000, but they save time on the structural side. Minimum size. For a livable space with a sleeping area, kitchen zone, and bathroom, you are looking at a minimum of 150 to 200 square feet. A 12 by 16 shed at 192 square feet is a realistic starting point. Larger is better if you want real comfort. A 12 by 24 at 288 square feet gives you significantly more design flexibility. Here is something that gets glossed over in a lot of shed conversion content. Your foundation matters more once you are converting to a living space. A standard shed on a gravel base might be fine for storing lawn equipment. But once you add furniture, appliances, plumbing, and people, you are adding substantial weight and you need a more stable base. Gravel is typically not suitable for a full residential conversion. A concrete slab is the standard. It is durable, stable, and typically required by code for permanent dwellings. A 288 square foot slab at current 2026 rates of roughly $12 to $18 per square foot will run you approximately $3,500 to $5,200 for the slab alone, before additional labor or prep costs. Pier foundations are another option, particularly for off-grid or rural builds. If you're planning to eventually sell the property, a permanent foundation is critical. Structures on non-permanent foundations are often classified differently under zoning and building codes and may affect your property's assessed value and legal status. Let's talk about money, honestly. Here is a realistic cost breakdown based on current 2026 data and verified 2026 labor and materials rates. Cost item, 2026 estimated range. Shed purchase, if buying new, $2,500 to $12,000. Foundation, concrete slab, $3,000 to $8,000. Insulation and weatherproofing, $600 to $2,500. Electrical, licensed electrician, $2,000 to $6,000. Plumbing, $2,000 to $6,000. Interior finishes, drywall, flooring, cabinets, $1,200 to $6,000. HVAC/mini split system, $2,000 to $6,000. Permits and impact fees, $500 to $2,500. Total realistic range, $15,000 to $65,000 plus. Two numbers in the table above were updated from what you might see in older guides. HVAC mini split systems, when you include equipment, labor, and permits, now realistically run $2,000 to $6,000 for a single zone system in 2026. And while basic permit fees can be low, when you factor in impact fees that some jurisdictions charge, the realistic range is $500 to $2,500. The total realistic range is $15,000 to $65,000 for a properly done, code-compliant conversion with full utilities. The lower end of that reflects a conversion where you already own a structurally sound shed, do substantial finish work yourself, and use alternative plumbing solutions. The upper end reflects a new shed, full utility hookups, high-end finishes, and professional labor throughout. Where do people save money? Using reclaimed materials for interior finishes, doing non-technical work themselves, painting, flooring, cabinetry, using alternative plumbing solutions. And if you already own a shed in good condition, that eliminates your biggest single line item. Where do people go over budget? Hiring contractors for work they thought they could DIY. discovering structural issues, or rot only after starting demolition, and underestimating utility connection costs, especially when the shed is far from existing water and sewer lines. Let us break utilities down one by one, because this is where budget shock typically hits. Electricity. You will need a licensed electrician. This is non-negotiable for both safety and code compliance. They will assess your power needs, plan the wiring, and ensure it meets local standards. If you're connecting to the grid, factor in the cost of running a line from the main panel. A solar setup is a strong alternative for off-grid builds and can significantly reduce long-term energy costs. Plumbing. Connecting to municipal water and sewer lines is the most reliable option, but can be expensive, especially if the shed is far from existing connections. Composting toilets remain a popular and effective alternative and are accepted in a growing number of jurisdictions. One development worth noting for 2026, UL-certified incinerating toilets have become a viable and increasingly popular option, particularly in jurisdictions that still have strict regulations around blackwater systems. They require no water connection for the toilet itself and incinerate waste completely, making them practical for locations where composting toilets are still restricted. Worth checking whether your jurisdiction permits them before you plan your plumbing. Always hire a licensed plumber for any work that connects to municipal lines. The inspection matters. Heating and cooling. The most popular solution for tiny homes in 2026 is the mini split system. It is efficient, quiet, takes up almost no wall space, and handles both heating and cooling. Cost runs $2,000 to $6,000 installed. Underfloor radiant heating is another excellent option. It creates no noise, uses no floor or wall space, and heats a small area very efficiently. Insulation is what separates a livable space from a box that bakes in summer and freezes in winter. Do not underinvest here. 4 wood sheds. Fiberglass bad insulation in the wall cavities works well and is cost-effective. 4 metal sheds. Spray foam is the superior choice. It adheres directly, seals gaps, and prevents the condensation issues that plague metal buildings. Budget $600 to $2,500 depending on the size and method. Once insulated, you can begin interior work. Keep these principles in mind for maximizing a small space. Use vertical space aggressively. Loft sleeping areas free up significant square footage below. Built-in storage eliminates the need for bulky freestanding furniture. Murphy beds and fold-down tables are standard solutions in tiny home design, and they genuinely work. Light colors make small spaces feel larger. Large windows do too, which means if your shed does not have them, cutting them in is worth the investment. Let's be real about what you are getting into. The genuine advantages. Cost. Even at $30,000 to $45,000 fully built out, you are looking at a fraction of the cost of a conventional home. For a guest house, rental unit, home office, or starter home, it is a compelling option. Speed. A well-organized shed conversion can be completed in weeks to a few months, far faster than ground-up construction. Sustainability. Smaller space means lower energy consumption. Add solar and alternative waste systems, and the environmental footprint is genuinely minimal. Flexibility. Depending on your jurisdiction, a shed conversion can serve as an ADU on your existing property, generating rental income or housing family members. The real challenges. Space is genuinely limited. A 200 square foot home is a lifestyle choice, not just a housing choice. If you have a lot of possessions, need space to work from home, or have children, a shed conversion may not be the right answer. Legal complexity is real. Zoning limitations, minimum square footage requirements, and building codes vary enormously by location. In some areas, this project is simply not viable as a permanent residence. Resale considerations. Not every buyer will see a converted shed as an asset. In some markets, it increases property value. In others, it raises questions. Maintenance. Ongoing maintenance, especially for wood structures, is part of the total ownership cost. Budget for it from the start. Remember at the beginning, I told you to stick around for the biggest mistake people make at the very last step? Here it is. People finish the build. They have put months of work and tens of thousands of dollars into this space. And then they skip the final inspection. Maybe they are tired. Maybe they are worried the inspector will find something. Maybe they figure, it looks done, so it is done. But without a past final inspection and a certificate of occupancy, your converted shed is not legally a dwelling. It cannot be rented. It cannot be listed on Airbnb. If something goes wrong, a fire, a flood, an injury, your homeowner's insurance may not cover a non-permitted, uninspected structure. And if you ever sell, that unpermitted shed is a disclosure issue that can kill deals or significantly reduce your sale price. Do the inspections. Get the certificate of occupancy. It is the last step, and it is not optional. Here is your action plan. Work through these in order. Step 1. Check local zoning laws with your planning department. Confirm residential use is permitted. If you're in California, ask specifically about the 15-day application completeness rule under SB 543. This prevents the city from sitting on your application without a response. Step 2. Review HOA rules, if applicable. Get written clarification, not a verbal answer. Step 3. Determine minimum square footage requirements for a legal dwelling in your area. Step 4. Choose or assess your shed. Evaluate structural integrity, size, and material. Step 5. Plan your foundation. A concrete slab is the standard for permanent conversions. Step 6. Create a detailed budget using the ranges covered in this video. Add a 20% contingency buffer. Things come up, always. Step 7. Submit plans and pull permits before you start any work. Step 8. Hire licensed professionals for electrical and plumbing. DIY the finishing work to save costs. Step 9. Insulate thoroughly before doing any interior finish work. Step 10. Schedule and pass final inspections. Get your certificate of occupancy. Do not skip this step. Look, turning a shed into a tiny house is genuinely one of the most creative, cost-effective ways to create a living space in 2026. The legislation is moving in a favorable direction in many states. The costs are real, but manageable if you plan honestly. And the result, a space that is entirely yours, built to your specifications, at a fraction of conventional housing cost, is worth the effort. But it only works if you do it right. Zoning first. Permits before you build. Licensed professionals for the technical work. And that final inspection at the end. Do not skip steps because a YouTube video made it look easy. If this video was useful to you, the best thing you can do is hit that like button. It genuinely helps this content reach people who need it. Subscribe if you have not already, and drop a comment below. Are you actively working on a shed conversion, or is this still in the dream phase? I read every single comment. I will see you in the next one.